The Planning Board meeting of the Township of Union will come to order. Today's date is June 23rd, 2022. Ms. Rutledge, would you please recite the Sunshine Law?
Certainly. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting stating the time and place was satisfied by the filing of an annual notice with the local source and the Star Ledger, newspapers of general circulation within the Township of Union, and posted on the bulletin board of the Township of Union Municipal Building.
Thank you, Ms. Rutledge. Good evening and welcome. Ms. Rutledge, can we have a roll call of members, please?
Certainly. Ms. Frazier?
Here.
Mr. Johnston?
Here.
Mr. Lee?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Ms. Perkins? Reverend Starling? Mayor Figueredo? Committeewoman Dellisfort?
Present.
Ms. Ricketts? Mr. Miller?
Here.
Chairman Bowser? Okay.
The Planning Board meeting is open. We have some housekeeping things we have to take care of initially. Ms. Fitzpatrick, would you please swear in our engineer?
Push the green light.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And would you just state your name for the record?
Philip Hatterer.
Thank you.
Okay, and again, in the interest of record keeping, we just have a few things to take care of. The Planning Board meeting resolution of May the 23rd, 2022 is hereby carried to July the 28th because of the lack of a quorum that we have today. That's going to get carried. Is there anyone here on the Cedillo San Antonio matter? Is there anyone here on the DF Osborne construction matter? Okay, and again, because of a lack of a quorum, we're going to have to table those resolutions to July the 28th. Those resolutions are application 2022-06 and application 2022-07. Those are tabled.
Sure. Yeah, we had represented those applicants, and we'll let them know about the.
Yeah, we just have, we don't have a quorum today, so we have to.
That's fine.
That's fine. And for new business, Mr. Hale, I understand you want to address the board on adjourning your.
Yes, thank you very much. We did send a letter into the board. Great to see everyone, and glad we're remaining in person. Yeah, I did have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Hatterer. He was kind enough, and Ann was kind enough to send over the letter yesterday. It's a lengthy letter, although I think it's a good letter, and it'll give us an opportunity to make some changes to our plans and address those comments, and we look forward to coming back before the board at the July 28th, I believe. Is that?
Yes, July 28th.
Yeah. So we respectfully request the board carry this matter to the July 28th meeting of the board without further notice. I don't think we're near the time of expiration for a decision, but we would stipulate any appropriate extension of time.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Hale.
And just by way of background, this is an application to replace the AccuPowder with a brand new warehouse facility.
Steve, just so you know, we have a conference call, or I have a conference call tomorrow morning with Bowler.
Oh, great.
Engineering, to go over my letter.
Okay. And we also request, we have your report, but were there any other departmentals? If not,
Not yet. They didn't receive the copies yet.
okay,
Okay.
great. Thank you.
All right, your request is ordered with no objection. We'll see you on the 28th.
Great. Everybody have a great 4th if I don't see you.
Okay.
And you understand that we have a presentation from the representative from Costco.
I'm here for Costco.
Hey, your name, please?
My name is Richard Prokanik.
Are you the attorney?
I am the engineer.
Is your legal counsel here?
There is no legal counsel
There's
tonight,
no legal- okay,
just
great.
myself.
Ms. Fitzgerald, would you please swear in the witness?
Raise your right. Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll be giving tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Would you mind spelling your name for the record, please?
Sure. It's P as in Peter, Rocanik.
All right, please proceed.
Thank you. I'm here tonight to request a site plan waiver for the ADA improvements at the local Costco. Costco has recently undergone minor site improvements to upgrade the ADA throughout various sites, including this one here in Union. The improvements are very minimal. It's restriping, ensuring proper path of travel from the parking spaces to the building, and also including pedestrian connectivity to the nearby road. The The pedestrian connectivity will require approximately 250 square feet of additional sidewalk. There is a current existing nonconformity on the site for impervious. So to offset that, we are removing 2 parking spaces. So there will be no net increase in impervious coverage. The loss of 2 parking spaces will not create a variance, and that's why we're here requesting the site plan waiver tonight.
Are you going to go through the diagrams?
I'd be more than happy to if you'd like me. Sure. What I'm sharing on the screen now has been previously provided to the board in our submission package, dated January 9th, 2021, with the revised date of 12/15/21. The existing ADA parking spaces are currently along the building. Because of the limited space between the parking space and the building, there's not appropriate path for the sidewalk for an individual to navigate from those parking spaces into the building. We are relocating those parking spaces in the row of parking directly west of those original parking spaces. We are maintaining the same amount of ADA parking spaces. There are additional crosswalks, appropriate ramps, and then pedestrian connectivity that I had mentioned at the exit only at the bottom of the screen. The 2 parking spaces being removed are in the same area of that sidewalk, just immediately to the north. I wish there was. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Hatter, do you have any questions of this?
So the impervious coverage is being reduced.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
By product of removing 2 spaces, it's more than the 250 square foot we require, so there's a minor reduction. But if you calculate it out, the percentage is still the same.
And the purpose of these improvements are to bring the parking up to standards with ADA. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I have no other comments, Mr. Chairman.
Any members of the public have any questions? Okay. Are there any other witnesses for you, Ms.?
It's just me tonight.
That's just you, okay, great. Well, at this time, I'd like to take a motion to approve application 2022-10, Costco, 1055 Hudson Street, B4002L801.
I make a motion to approve application 2022-10 SPW Costco.
Second.
Second.
Well, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Johnston?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Committeewoman Dellisfort?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Okay, so ordered.
Thank you.
Let me see.
And now do I understand we have a representative from Silka Development?
Good evening. I'm Alan Barkin, Schwartz, Barkin and Mitchell, here in Union. Oh,
Oh, he's coming over here. Oh, this is better. Okay, this is good.
Are you the attorney for Silka?
yes, I am. Thank you.
Identify yourself for the record, please.
Alan Barkin, Schwartz, Barkin and Mitchell, here in Union. We are presenting an application that is essentially moving a lot line. We have 2 lots on Brookside Place that are adjacent to one another. One is oversized, one is undersized. We're putting them together and dividing them down the middle. The only variance we think well, there's 2 related variances. One is that the whole street is only 90 feet deep, and so we're only 90 feet deep. We're going to be 52 feet wide, which is conforming, but we're still under the 5,000 square feet that's required because we're only 90 feet deep.
How many witnesses will you be
Uh,
having?
We're going to have just Mr. DuPont, and my client is here if there are any questions.
Mr. DuPont, will you please raise your right hand? Ms. Fitzgerald, will you please swear in the witness?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to be giving the board tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And would you please spell your name for the record?
John DuPont.
And would you mind speaking up, because
Certainly.
I'm having trouble hearing.
DuPont, D-U-P-O-N-T.
Thank you.
Mr. DuPont, did you prepare the set of plans that was submitted with the application?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and can you present the plans and bring us through the application?
Certainly. So as you've heard, basically what we're doing is we're taking two existing lots, merging them and re-subdividing the lots.
If I may stop you for a second, sir?
Sure.
Can you please tell us what your credentials are?
Yep.
Sorry.
Absolutely. So I am a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. I am also a certified municipal engineer. I am also a professional planner. I've been through states, through towns throughout the state, all over New Jersey. I've served as the Carteret Planning and Zoning Board Engineer and Planner for the last 23 years. I've been in front of your board numerous times, and that's...
All right, we'll stipulate to his credentials, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Both as a planner and as an
As an
engineer.
expert witness, yes.
Thank you.
So as we take these, and we have the drawing up on the slide, and I'll zoom in a little bit just so you can see the lots a little better. There we go. So we're taking two lots, lots 16 and 17, on Brookside Avenue. Both existing lots, one existing dwelling, and we're going to demolish the house, re-subdivide into two more standard-sized lots. So if we just go through it really quick, lot 16 currently has a dwelling on it. It's 65 by 90. The lot depth is 90 feet. That's an existing violation. The front yard setback for the existing dwelling is only 3 feet. That is a violation of your ordinance. The side yard setback is only 0.57 feet. That is a violation of your ordinance as well. So lot 16 has 3 existing non-conforming. Lot 17 is the vacant lot. Lot 17 is 3,510 square feet, undersized. It has a lot width of only 39 feet, undersized, and the lot depth, again, consistent at 90 feet, undersized. So lot 16 has 3 existing non-conformings. Lot 17 has 2. So we're going to take those 2 lots, re-subdivide them equally to give each new lot 52 feet of width. So we make them both 52 feet wide. They're both still 90 feet deep. They're both a little short of area, and that's why we're here tonight. So the lot 16 becomes 4,860 square feet, and that's the same lot area for lot 17. So we made them equal. What we're proposing is 2 single-family homes on those lots. Again, we know we need lot area and lot depth variances. A question came up from your professional staff, do we need a front yard setback variance? Because we're only proposing the front yard setback of 21 feet. Your zone requires 25. However, it gives us the opportunity to look at the average of the block and base our front setback off the average, no closer than 20 feet. The average of lots 1, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, and 21, which are on that block, is 11 feet. So we feel comfortable that we think we can go as close as 20 feet for a front yard setback. Again, we're going to put it at 21, but don't think we need a relief for that. So that's where we are on the front yard setback. As far as drainage goes, this is a minor stormwater management project as far as the state goes and the township. We are disturbing 0.24 acres, and we are increasing the impervious by 0.04 acres. Now, to accommodate the increase in runoff, we're proposing seepage pits in the rear of both yards. Your engineer has brought up that we should be doing perk tests before construction. Certainly agree with that. We will do that, but we believe we'll have a reduction in runoff from the site as opposed to today. We have received the letter from your professional staff dated June 7th and have no comments or no concerns with any of the comments. We can meet everything. So just to quickly, before I start my planning testimony, 2 single-family homes, the lot depths are not changing, that's what's going to cause our variances for lot areas. So we have 2 variances for both. So if I could shift to planning testimonial, that's really it for engineering. It's pretty basic. But from planning, again, we talk about the 2 existing variances which are going to carry forward and the 2 new variances for lot area. We're going to use a flexible C2 analysis. And I won't go too crazy, but I do want to get the proofs in. We feel that with this project, we are clearly advancing several purposes of the MLUL. Purpose A, we're proposing a permitted use that will promote the general welfare of the neighborhood. 2 single-family homes in a single-family neighborhood. It's all residential now. We think we advance purpose C. We are providing adequate air, light, and open space. We're meeting all the bulk setbacks for your zone. Even though we have a smaller area, we're not infringing on any front, side yard, rear yard setbacks. So we think we're providing that. We're advancing purpose E, where we're promoting the proper densities in a community. Again, the single-family homes. Purpose G, we're proposing sufficient space for residential development. And purpose I, we're promoting a desirable environment with 2 new dwellings. And if we look at the negative criteria of this application, I don't see any. I can think of no negative criteria. This block right now is seeing a renaissance. There's a couple new houses being built. It's changing over. The block is on the right move, and we're going to add to that. So in conclusion, I think the variances of these can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. The granting of these variances will certainly not substantially impair the intent or the purpose of the zone plan or zoning ordinance. In fact, I think we're improving the area. We're eliminating several existing violations, and we're creating 2 new homes which are more consistent with the neighborhood. Clearly, the benefits of granting the variance will substantially outweigh any detriments. I don't see any detriments for this project. And the community will be getting 2 new single-family homes, which will encourage home ownership. And newer houses will clearly benefit the community. Just one more side note as far as widths. So the widths in areas of the properties. On the block, as we have 2 proposed lots of 52 feet wide, we're going to be the widest width. We're the only, well, there's one other lot on that block that's going to confirm with width. We're going to comply with it, one other lot. All the other lots are 39 feet or smaller. So I really think it's a terrific project. Certainly not too, density is not a problem. And I think subdividing the property and building 2 new single-family houses is the right answer for this lot.
What type of buildings will you be, there'll be housing units, right?
2 single-family houses.
Okay.
Yep.
And how close will they be? What will be the proximity?
To each other?
Yeah.
Zoom in there. They're all going to meet both the side yard setbacks, I'm assuming, out there. 12 feet in between the 2 houses.
And I know you mentioned there was a 21 to 25 feet disparity. Could you please crystallize what you were talking about there, please?
Yeah, so your zoning ordinance requires a front yard setback of 25 feet. However, in the zone it says you can do an average of the block and move that forward, if you like, no closer than 20 feet from the right-of-way line. So we took an average of the block. The average of the front yard setbacks on that block is only 11 feet. There's one house that's on the front yard setback. So we chose to move the house, instead of 25 feet, move it to 21 feet, a little closer to the road. And that, it doesn't, I think the way the ordinance reads, that does not require a variance. I think it's just, we were able to use the average.
Are there any drainage issues in the 4 feet?
No, and I think we're gonna collect old roof leaders from both houses into a seepage pit. So I think we're gonna actually have a reduction in runoff.
Okay. And Mr. Hatter, do you have any questions?
So, Mr. DuPont, you are not seeking a variance in 1.3 or 1.6 of our letter based on your testimony. Is that correct?
That's the front yard setbacks?
That's the front yard setback.
That is correct.
Okay.
Can you
Okay.
show elevations for the proposed project? Do you have those?
I don't know if we have architectural elevations.
Yeah, no, we've not gotten to that point yet. Wanted to get the approvals first, and then they'll do the buildings themselves.
And you mentioned as part of your proofs that you're creating 2 undersized lots where density is not an issue?
I agree. Yes, that's my point, because our lots are bigger than all the other lots on the block except for one.
And how many lots were undersized?
7 out of 8.
All right, thank you.
One other comment. 3.2, we're looking for a perk rate of 2 inches per hour. Recognizing that the grade of the properties, the two properties, are back-pitched towards the rear yard, our concern is any overflow from those detention basins into adjoining neighboring properties. That would be a concern. So we would like to be present during those perk tests.
That's no problem at all. And just keep in mind that the property does slope that way now, but I get it, that back area is steep.
And Chairman, if I may, and if you find that it does not meet the standards, is your client interested or willing to put a French drain?
I think they would, if that seepage pit in the rear didn't work, yes, I think they'd be willing to look at new options, yes.
All right, Mr. DuPont, could you get verification for us on that, please?
Yes.
Joe, come on. Stand next to John.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give the board tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And would you mind spelling your name for the record, please?
Jose
That's your...
Cardoso.
Thank you.
Mr. Cardoso, are you the managing member of Soka Development LLC?
Yes.
Okay. And is this your project, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay. And you've heard what Mr. DuPont said about the things that you would be willing to agree to, the conditions. In general, you've heard those, and do you agree with them?
Yes.
More specifically, do you agree that you would take additional steps to upgrade the detention system if the perk tests mandated that?
Yes.
And we just want to make it very clear, sir, if our township engineer and our staff wants to have access to the property, you'll be able to do that for us?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Yes. Looking at this exhibit here, can you confirm that there are no sidewalks adjacent or parallel to the street?
Yes, I walked that site today, just before this meeting. There are no sidewalks on that block.
And with the setback proposed being 21 feet, is it accurate to also say that the proposed driveway is 21 feet as well?
That's correct, and that's why probably why your ordinance limits it to 20, and we kept it at 21.
Okay. And with it being 21 feet, that should be more than sufficient for a car to take space in the proposed driveway?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Question? I'm sorry.
With the 12 feet between the homes, is it mandatory for them to have firewalls on?
If they were less than 5 feet, they would be required to have firewalls, so 6 foot frees that. And they would be compliant with your building department anyway, but that's the limit, 5.
I'm sorry, what's the proposed height of both dwellings?
They will both be compliant, and I'm just sorry if I just have 1 second. You're allowed 32 feet in the zone, and we'd be compliant with that.
And you're proposing how many feet?
Nothing proposed, the house isn't proposed yet, but it will be less than,
Nothing over.
We don't anticipate needing variances above and beyond what we've asked for the dwelling, for the actual building structure.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the public?
Should I come up there or just leave you?
I'm just going to swear you in when you get to the podium. All All right.
am I speaking?
Would you please rate, okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give the board tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And would you please spell your name and give your address for the record?
My name, Andrea, last name Jones.
Andrea Jones.
Address 1221 Brookside Avenue.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Jones, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Jones, in the form of a question, what questions do you have for our witnesses?
Everything has to be posed as a question.
Yeah, if you could just talk into the microphone too, that'd be great.
Okay, so Mr. Cardoza, my question to you is, why would you tell me that when I sold you my lot, that you were going to build a one-family home, and now you're imposing on us trying to build two one-family homes?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I sold him the empty lot.
Oh, you talked to him already?
I sold it to him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And he told me that he was going to build a one-family home,
Oh, okay.
like the one he did right next door to the house that's there.
All right.
And then we get a letter stating that he wants to build two one-family homes.
Okay.
So had I known that, I would not have sold my lot to him. We don't really have that much space. We have woods, at the end of the street. Parking is terrible. And it's just too much going on in Union. It's too much overcrowding, too much approval of everything. Everything is approved.
All right, Counsel, do you have a response?
Well, at the time he made the transaction with you, he was buying your lot. He also bought the other property next door, is removing the house, so he's really only adding one family house.
He told me he was only building one house. I don't know why you shrug your shoulders, but that's...
I don't know what to say. This is what his plan was from the beginning. There may have been a misunderstanding.
And also, if your laws and your stipulations go by certain footage, and some things are short, how could this be approved? Because my lot was deemed unbuildable because it didn't have the certain depth and width. So how could a home be approved even though you're going to go a little wider? You still don't have the depth.
Well, that's why they have variances. That's why they have to approach the board to get variances for these petitions.
So I'm just very upset about this.
Okay.
Very.
You have any
And,
other questions, Ms. Jones?
No, and I have other people here as well.
Okay. Sure. You want to come up? Questions? Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Please.
We have another witness.
I'm sorry.
We have another question.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give the board tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
And again, would you mind spelling your name for the record and giving the board your address?
yes. Patricia, Jon, the last name Jones, hyphenated Parchment.
Okay, and your address, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1202 Brookside Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay, so my question is, I know we're here because you want to get this all approved, or has it somewhat been approved?
We're here asking the board for approval of our variances.
Because as Ms. Jones has spoken before, it's going to be very tight in there. I know he built the house next door to that, a big humongous house, and what was stated that he's going to build one house, and he changed it, now he wants to build two houses. It's going to be very tight down there. And that's a concern for the neighbors. I'm here representing the neighbors, Brookside Avenue.
If I may, what's your question? What's your question?
My question is this going to go forward? That's my question.
Well, we don't know yet. That's why we're accepting testimony.
Okay, and
We're
then the
asking for-
footage going back, he's talking about a couple of houses that were built. There were only two houses, and one is being built as we speak. Okay, and they had to go back so many feet from the curb. And he's suggesting, or you're suggesting, or someone is suggesting you don't have to go back that far. And I know that has to be approved as well.
Well, how do you respond to that?
Actually, as to the setback, we're moving the house back about 10 feet from what exists today. That's the first point. But the second point is, we don't need a variance because the ordinance says 25 feet, but if the other houses in the neighborhood are in the front yard area, you take the average, and as long as we're below or further back than that average and not more than 20, not less than 20 feet, that it's permitted. And our engineer has demonstrated that based on that average, our 21 feet as opposed to the 25 is permissible.
So that was my question. I know it's all about, it is, tax money to come to you. We all know it's all about money. But I'm looking out for the neighbors.
Okay,
And
thank
that's
you
all I
very
have
much.
to say.
Fair
Okay?
enough, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the public? All right. Mr. Dupont, how do you respond to the overcrowding issue?
Two responses. One is that we're going to be the largest lots on that block, except for one. And two is, we're meeting all your bulk standards. So we're providing light, air, and open space. We're not infringing on the side yard setbacks, or the front yard setbacks, or the rear yard setbacks. We're building a fully compliant home on a lot that's only deficient because of the existing depth is 90 feet. All the lots on that property are only 90 feet deep, so they're all deficient. We gave the width. We're actually wider than that. Your ordinance says 50-foot wide. We're going 52 feet wide. And then your ordinance says 5-foot setbacks. We're going 6 feet setbacks. So I think the builder is attempting to build a home that fits in that neighborhood on that lot.
When do you plan on starting construction if we approve? Joe?
When do you plan to start construction?
As soon as I get approvals.
I'm sorry?
As soon as I get approvals.
Okay. Counselor, frankly, I would like you to provide us with written explanations in response to the questions from our witness, from the public, please, because I'm not 100% sure that we have all the facts here. So,
I'll ask Mr. Cardozo on the record under oath whether that was the case. I don't believe it was. I actually represented him in the purchase, and there was no discussion, anything in the contract which limited what he could do.
all right. I'm reluctant to take a vote on this tonight.
Okay.
And frankly, our residents have come up and provided very, I think, understandable concerns about the development of the property. What I would like you to do as the attorney for the developer is provide us with a written response to those, to alleviate our fears that they're right.
I'd like to know, they said a few things. They're worried about density, and I understand that.
Right.
What else would you like me to address?
I would like you to address the concerns that they have about the closeness and the proximity of the buildings.
Okay.
That's basically what it comes down to, right, ladies? Because I don't think, and I mean this respectfully, I don't think we have all the facts here.
If you tell me what you want to know, we'll tell you. But as far as the closeness of the buildings to one another, we've presented that. This is what it's going to be. We have, your inspectors will make sure of that. We're within all of your guidelines. I can't say more than that. Sure.
What is the proximity of the new homes to the existing homes?
I don't have to the existing home. I do have to our property line. That's how we design it.
But do you have, in your property, you said it's 12 feet, but you don't know what,
And our side yard setback is required by ordinance to be 5 on the outside, not between our new homes, but on the outside, and we're again proposing 6. I don't know how far they're off. I don't know if they're compliant, but ours will be compliant with 1 foot of extra width.
All right, Counselor, the burden rests with you to
Okay.
convince the board, and I don't know, I think maybe you will be, but right now I don't think you're there yet. Right?
Okay.
Yes?
May I ask a question from here?
A question, sure.
Sure. Okay, so when
I think she needs to come up so
Yes,
she's on the
come on up
record.
to the-
When you have these footage requirements for homes and, say for instance, my street is a very old street, has very old homes. So however it was built before was based on what was required then. So now we have new requirements space-wise with setback and all of that. So do those things go with the law now, or you're trying to fit it into what it was before? If you understand what I'm
You're
saying?
going to have to address that with the applicant, because like I said, I don't know what the answer to that is. That's something that the applicant's going to have to answer for you.
Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying, though,
I
right?
do, yeah.
Okay.
I think I understood your question. It's a good question. What we're doing is we're complying with the law as it currently exists. The only historical fact that we're using is the adjustment between 20 and 25 feet on the front yard setback. And today's ordinance says that you can look at the other properties on the block to come forward up to 5 feet. We're coming forward only 4 feet, even though the existing properties would allow us to come forward all of the 5 feet.
Okay. Counsel, I would respectfully suggest, most respectfully suggest that we need some information from your client in response to the witnesses that we have here, and that's not because we're trying to be difficult. We just, they raise some, I think, understandable issues that we want to hear from you. One second, ma'am. So if you could just provide Mr. Hatterer, Phil?
Sure.
With a written response to those before we vote on this, and we can table the resolution down the road. I don't think another 4 weeks or so is going to make a big deal about it. I think that would be very
Unfortunately, I'm on vacation at your next meeting, so it'd have to be August.
Excuse
Mr.
me.
Johnson,
Excuse me, Chair. Also, if you can provide perhaps architectural elevations, that might resolve the issue quickly.
Is that okay, Joe?
Yeah, we have them already.
Yeah, okay.
I actually had a couple follow-up questions regarding just the conversations that we've been having, and maybe these questions are a little bit too premature. First, with these 2 proposed 2-story dwellings, I assume these dwellings are identical to each other, correct?
Most likely.
Most likely. What does a dwelling look like in terms of the number of bedrooms and bathrooms?
4 bedrooms,
4 bedrooms?
yes.
Okay.
How many bathrooms, just so we...
3.
3.
3. Okay, 4 and 3. And if I could recall the citation of the other lots used to take the average of the setback from the front at 11 feet, you cited lots 1, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And then I think there was a question with regards to the areas of those lots as well. Do we have kind of an average or a median of what the areas of those lots are?
We do not have an average of the areas, however, you have all the widths, and they're all the same depths. So you can use
So
that.
depths are 90 feet, right?
They're all 90 feet, yeah.
What about the lengths?
So widths are, the
Oh,
widths
yeah.
currently are 51, the one larger, or the one smaller, so 51, 39, 39, 39, our original lot, which was originally 39, and then our next lot, which was 65. So, and then as we subdivide, we become 2 52-foot
Yeah.
lots.
And maybe this question is kind of a little bit out of scope of the question that I would have, and maybe it's not within your knowledge, but with the question that I had in terms of the number of bedrooms in the proposed dwellings, do we have an idea of the size of the dwellings of those comparative lots in terms of approximate number of bedrooms or occupants in each of those?
I do not have any of that information.
Okay.
We'd have no way of knowing that. The tax collector might have information about the square footage of each other house, but not about the number of bedrooms.
Any other questions from the board? All right, Council, like I said, I think you're not quite there yet on burden of
Okay.
proof, but I think you're getting there. But if you can just communicate with Mr. Hatterer on those issues,
Do we need to come back and present?
I would, yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand what you're doing.
Obviously not in July. because
Okay,
you're
yeah,
not
I'm
patient.
away.
But, and I also, Ms. Jones, you have another question, please?
Yes.
Can Can you please come up to the microphone?
Is it possible to actually have a picture of the property where you guys can actually see what we're dealing with as opposed to a drawing?
We did ask for that. We asked for elevations and
Oh, that's what that means? Oh, okay.
I'll show you where
All
it
right,
is.
thank you.
Do you want renderings? Are you looking for?
No, I mean, take a picture so you see where my house is, where this lot is.
Well, we do have, I believe on our drive, we have a aerial photo, if that helps. I don't know how well it can be seen, but.
There you go.
If you see the red dot, that's right on top of the existing house. And so if you compare it to the two houses to the left, the space is much bigger than it's as big as the three houses to the left.
Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yeah, there are no houses to the left of that blue house that you're gonna knock down, no 3 houses.
I'm looking
I'm sorry,
right
ma'am,
at,
you're
I'm
gonna
looking
have to
right
come up
at
to
the
microphone.
roofs.
We can't hear you. Yeah, she's going to have to come up to the microphone. We can't hear her.
There are not 3 houses to the left of the house that you propose to knock down. There's 1 house there.
Okay. Well, these are the issues that we're going to ask council to respond to in writing.
Okay.
And what I think, like I said, council, I think you're getting there, but you're not quite.
Okay.
I think you'll get there eventually, but I don't think you're quite there. And I would feel more comfortable if you could be able to respond in more clarity and as far as the questions go about the crowding issue with the buildings being together. And so what I'm going to ask is for a motion from the board to table and carry this matter to a date to be determined for you to return, and so that you can, in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have a motion, please? That it be carried?
Do we have a date in mind? I know that.
It's going to be determined at a later date.
To be determined, okay.
Right, he's on vacation.
Okay.
Well, if we could get on the August calendar, we'd like that.
For the, okay.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm getting that for you right now. Yeah, 25th.
that'd be great, thank you.
Motion to table application 2022 dash, oh,
Yes, ma'am.
Acting Chair.
This is going to be the last round of questioning, if you don't mind.
I'm going to have to swear you in.
Your name, please?
SHARON JONES.
Sharon
Um,
Jones.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give the board tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I live at 1221 Brookside, which is right next to the empty lot. Are any of you guys going to come and actually look at the property now to get a visual?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you were
Are
saying.
you going to come and look at the area now before they start building?
We have the engineers on staff, we already discussed that. They're going to allow our engineering staff to approach the property to do their own inspections.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. That's correct, right, Phil?
Yes.
Okay. Good. You want to continue with your motion, Steve?
We're all good with questions? Okay. Move to table application 2022-08 Soket Development to tentatively, but to be determined for the August meeting.
Second? Second. Roll call?
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Johnston?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Committeewoman Dellisfort?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. So ordered. Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms.
Thank you
Fitzpatrick,
very
will
much.
we have to renotice?
No.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
All right, is there any other new business? If the answer is nay, I'll take a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. So ordered. Thank you.